Province, or Transvaal would play Natal, and there would probably be it would probably be like similar to test sides playing each other with full stands. So that's all we had at that stage, and that kept our rugby alive and strong. And then Super Rugby was introduced as well, so it helped a bit. But yes, you're right. We were inexperienced at test level, but I think the hunger and I think the talent was always there. It was just a matter of time.
Did you think by that stage maybe your opportunity to feature for the Springboks had passed?
Well, the dream was always there. I think for any youngster, like they dream to play for their country, and the dream was always there. You know, you work towards that. And one day when we were
Friday Night Racing.
On Off the Ball.
And they're off.
Brought to you by Go Racing. Plan your day at the races at goracing.ie.
Welcome along to Friday Night Racing. This is Johnny Ward standing in or sitting in for Ger Gilroy. I'm not sure where Ger is, but he's not here anyway. But two people who are. Thom Bugsy Malone.
How's it going?
Making your debut on the show.
Friday night debut, yeah, Friday Night Racing debut.
You've been heard a lot on the Communicore network over the last sort of few months.
Yeah, 98 in the mornings generally, although I've been on News Talk today as well, so.
People will recognise your beautiful face, of course, from such race courses as the Curragh and Fairyhouse.
Fairyhouse, nice sometimes too, yeah.
The man gets around, Paddy Flood.
He's busy.
Yeah, what's the crack with you?
Oh, crack now, Johnny. Same old, same old.
You're off to Bologna next week.
Off to Bologna, and you're going to give me some recommendations.
Yeah, if anyone has any recommendations for Paddy in Bologna next week, great city to go to, by all means send them in. But we're obviously here to talk about his racing career, past and present and future. I think we'll start with the present, actually. What are you up to nowadays? People will obviously have great recollections of your time with the late Desi Hughes, but you've moved on to a different part of your kind of racing journey now.
Yeah, I suppose I've landed back in Kildare again, in the Race Academy. I'm there full time since January, part time, kind of 2 years as a riding instructor. That kind of covers a lot of things, you know, from simulator work to schooling horses to just basically riding on a gallop.
What does race entail to people who wouldn't have heard of it?
Well, it's a school.
Stands for something, doesn't it? RACE?
Racing Apprentice Centre of Education, isn't it? Yeah.
Did you get Paddy out of jail there now?
Yeah.
I was hoping to catch him out. Like, it's like.
Well, in fairness, Paddy actually sorted me out because I rode in the charity race at Punchestown. So you have to go down for a day, and you have to spend a day in race, and so.
This
Paddy
was your
hacking around the back and
distinctly uninspiring hack around the back on a fancied horse. I don't know if you remember this. Thom Malone was riding in the charity race at Punchestown. He's riding a horse who basically just about gets 7 furlongs over 1.6 miles.
Yeah, but he was withdrawn on the day.
He was withdrawn on the day, and lo and behold, the horse that was going to tear off out in front was a non-runner, and he got his leg up on a horse who actually had a chance. But what happened then?
Had absolutely no chance.
He did have a chance. Poor Man's Hill.
Yeah, but he was literally pulled out of a field on the day. So
it would have been up for a non-trier if it were under the rules of racing.
There's a couple of people suggesting I definitely had a career in riding maiden hurdles, but
Paddy can talk to you about that. But what was your day in race like then?
It was amazing. You go down, they've got simulators. They actually have kind of retired race horses as well. They're kept amazingly, by the way, and the best of gear. And the plonkers like me come down and get to sit and cant around, and they just assess you and say you're okay.
We've 40 horses in there.
40?
Yeah, mostly retired race horses. Not all of them are. They're all thoroughbreds, but some of them haven't raced, some of them have.
Any names?
Yeah. Do you remember Bubbly Bellini?
I do, yeah. Aidan McGuinness, a former guest of the show.
Yeah. Horse that ran in the Melbourne Cup for Johnny Murtagh. Went on to run the Japan Cup.
Royal Diamond?
That's the horse.
Yeah.
He's probably the best horse we have there.
Not bad.
Not a bad horse, yeah.
Yeah, he's a bit quirky though, but he's.
Yeah, no, you didn't put me up on him, thankfully.
Yeah. How do they end up there then? So are there horses that are suitable for educational purposes, or?
Yeah, well, the owners would ring up and say, look, I have a horse here thinks that will suit. Ring Barry Walsh up, and Barry will take it for a month. And, you know, I might ride it for a week. Paul, who rides out with me, might ride it for a week, and we'll just judge where he's going to go. You know, we don't need too many forward-going keen horses. We kind of need the in-between. We have very lazy in between, and we have harder ones for, you know, schooling out the Curragh and stuff like that. So, but with the kids we take in, basically start off at the bottom and work your way up, you know.
There was a documentary done on, I think, race, wasn't it, when they were tracking jockeys that were trying to make it, and it's very interesting because they're wet behind the ears. There's actually archive footage from RTE of race, I think, or the Curragh anyway, in the 70s or 80s, where young lads were coming in to but it probably hasn't changed that much in the sense of...
But the thing that's changed is probably the height and the weight of kids nowadays.
That's something that Joseph O'Brien has spoken about. He actually spoke about on the show that essentially people are getting taller and bigger, such that in the States they're all Latin American riders.
Yeah.
So is that something that you're noticing as well?
Personally, yeah, I do notice it. And we went to Dingle last year with race, and Wayne Middleton, who was on the show with you before, came with us, and just, I can't remember the actual average and weight and height, but it would shock you. You know, they are getting bigger, they are getting heavier.
What's the solution?
I don't know.
Do you have to raise minimum weights?
I don't know, you're going to have a lot more amateurs, I think, then, if you don't.
I mean, you look at guys in the weigh room now, and there are very few of those that you would take, like the likes of, you know, like Willie Carson, who was literally 4'11" tall and could ride bottom weight in a handicap
or Pat Shanahan, or, you know, them lads. I think that mould is gone.
But when you look at top riders now, very few of them are very small. I mean, Chris Hayes, Wayne Lorden, they are...
Yeah.
But even they struggle a little bit.
Yeah.
But then you look at the younger guys coming through, only kind of Andrew Slattery, Killian Leonard, be lads off the top of my head, you would think would be naturally very, very light. Anyone else you would think would struggle?
No, it's definitely a fact, because we can see it in the school, you know, and even last year there was probably 4 or 5 guys who might get a year and then have to step on and go jumping, you know, whereas, you know, 20, 30 years ago, they were coming that size and they stayed that size. But
what was your weight like?
It was good. I never wanted to go on the flat. I was always just mad keen for jumping. So just hunted from a very young age. And I started, I suppose, just jumps riding. I was probably 8'6", 8'7", 8.5 stones, something like that.
That's small for a jumps jockey now when you think about it.
But like, that's what we kind of were.
Yeah.
And I was kind of classed as the heavier lad, you know. I was never thought of as an apprentice. Yeah. Because I was always a little bit bulkier, you know.
Let's go back to the start then. Like myself, no racing background.
No racing background. My dad kind of just got me in through hunting.
Was he into the hunting?
Yeah. Still hunts, loves it. Started kind of there and loved speed to go with it as well, you know, so kind of ended up hunting with like a 2-pound saddle on a pony, a really good pony, you know.
Did want to be good.
Flying around with Charlie O'Neill's North Kildare Farmers Hunt every Sunday. And then just progressed to, okay, he can stand up on horse's back and jump. What's next? Pony racing. So we went pony racing, and
your first pony, was it your first ride and the pony was a winner?
Yeah, got run away with, and it just won. Yeah,
like Tom would have on Geologic.
100% true.
100%.
Yeah, Kieran Egan, John Egan's dad, rocked up with this chestnut horse for me and just said point it in the right direction, and we landed down in Uachtarard.
That's County Galway, yeah.
Galway, around the outside of a football
from John
pitch.
Egan's country, yeah.
Outside of a football pitch. I think if there was a rope around it, I don't know if there was. And I had a job stopping this thing going to the start.
Please tell me there's footage of this somewhere.
I don't know, there might be actually.
Billy Lee and...
Yeah, not as good as that.
Yeah.
No, I just got bolted with it and just couldn't stop. Yeah.
But it won.
Won.
This is something I've often thought about. You know the way you just fall into things in life. So imagine if every young lad and lassie in Ireland was told you're going to have to spend 2 weeks training to ride in a hunt and just see how you get on, and basically what percentage of people would absolutely fall in love with it?
Oh, I'd say 90%.
Would they?
Yeah,
because most people don't get up on a horse.
If like, you have to be competent enough to go out and hunt on a horse. But there's no real other buzz. Now, it's not for the blood sport side of it. It's just the hunting I was doing was a 2-hour set course to start with.
Right.
No dogs.
This is Charlie O'Neill.
Yeah.
Charles O'Neill, who's the head of Irish Thoroughbred Marketing. His dad had this amazing spot.
Still going. Dara's still running it.
Yeah.
But that was a 2-hour set course, anyone can come. You can run out by any jump you want, so kids
Flat
can just
to the mat.
as you can go flat to the mat. You can go
Flat to the mat, which runs actually in Tipperary on Sunday for Mick Winters. But Carberry, who we had on the show, obviously he's well known for his hunting exploits, but you do see the glint in his eye when he just talks about it.
Brave man to follow him out in the hunting field. Or you want to have a lot of whiskey or something in there. He's nuts.
So on to the pony racing circuit then.
Yeah. So ended up with that pony. He wasn't a pony. He was 16 hand horse.
Was he more amenable to restraint with time, or?
I think I got stronger more so than he calmed down. But he ended up winning in Dingle, and I rode a good few winners pony racing. I suppose my biggest feat in it was there was 2 hurdle races in Dingle one year, and I won the 2 of them.
Jesus.
And a horse called Bog Road. There's a story there with it. I don't know if I should go into it.
Have a few minutes to think about whether you should or not, and then come up with the idea that you should. A hurdle race in Dingle must be some crack now.
2 of them, Saturday and Sunday. And
what's the circuit like, roughly?
It's not a bad track. It's literally downhill at start, real sharp end, climb a hill, downhill, and
undulating.
Yeah.
I passed it now. I haven't been actually at
great spot now. We're going next month with race, just to be down there and show our presence. But anyway, 2 hurdle races. Nina was riding at the time. Who else was in it? But I'd heard at the start of the year that you had to be 18 to ride in it. So I kind of went right. I think I was 14. So put
have a Nadine Coyle.
Put my date of birth different, just hoping someone might slip in. No one spotted it. So come the day, they go, no, he can't ride. And I said, I'm registered. That's my age. You took it. Okay.
Exclusive revelations on Friday night racing. How did you enjoy it?
Oh, sure. At the time, it was kind of easy. I started in the Desi Uses when I was 12, so I was schooling horses around the 8 for Desi when I was 13 and that, so it's a lot done at that stage. I just tipped around.
How did you end up in Desi Uses so early? You got the bug then?
Yeah, well, hunting and that. We had a family friend, Chris Delcross. He was Desi's head lad. Very, very good man. And
I know the name actually.
He trains now.
Yeah,
he's up the north.
Yeah.
Chris is a great horseman, and he had said to my dad, sure, send him in to us on a Saturday and see how he goes. And just kind of started from there.
I don't know about you, Tom, but definitely one of my favourite people in racing, and one of the genuinely sad. When he got cancer, he recovered from it, and obviously he got it again. I remember it was in November when he passed away. I remember being at the funeral. Tommy Carberry, who's passed away since, was behind me at the funeral, and you had just all this racing royalty. But Irish people are great for going to funerals and all that, but this was a funeral where everybody really respected the man.
Yeah, and what was he like to work for?
He's a good man to work for. He expected you to work.
Yeah.
What
would you like to work for him?
Not great. But Desi was the first lad out there. No matter what time you got in at, he was mucking out.
Yeah.
So he expected you to come in and muck out more than he mucked out, Now I was a bit wild at the time, but I was fine when I was young. Until I got a bit of cash, then it went a bit.
Yeah, well, we all kind of fall into the trap of getting cash and then not really knowing. But your career, to be fair, it's kind of life passes by so fast. It's hard to believe that it's so long since you actually kind of started. Now, you were saying you met your missus, 12 years ago?
12 years ago, yeah, in Cheltenham.
During Cheltenham. What were your early memories in terms of winners? And you really did kind of burst onto the scene, I suppose.
Yeah, I was unlucky and lucky, I suppose, at the same time. Kieran Kelly had been there, Garrett Cotter, Paul Wade, real good riders that I was riding out with every day. So, as I said, when I started, I was 12.
It's 16 years since Kieran Kelly passed away, which is astonishing as well.
Crazy. Kieran was kind of the main man. Gareth Cotter was there as well, another main man. Paul Wade was conditional. Roger Loughran was the amateur. And I was just tipping away. I wasn't thinking that, but I just loved being on them, and cracking away. But fortunately, Kieran passed away that time. By the time I was 16, I was ready to get up and go race riding, from the pony racing. Been in Desi's for 4 years, rode out with all them good riders, and like that, Kieran had passed, and
that must have been an awful shock for the yard.
Oh, it was horrible. Horrible.
3
time.
jockeys passed away that year. Timmy Houlihan, Sean Cleary, and Kieran, and it just seemed racing seemed to hit a bit of a low. I remember
it was just numb. Everyone was just kind of.
The race meet was called off when it was announced that he passed away. I remember.
Yeah, we were at a mass for him when we got the word, and it was just horrible, you know, for such a young talent. And he was a mentor to a lot of us. And then when you're young like that, you're kind of looking up to this guy, and then he's gone, you know.
Did that affect you because you were obviously thinking this is going to be my career and now he's dead?
Yeah,
and
yeah. It obviously affects you. I don't know how it did. I wouldn't be able to put it into words, but it did. You know, it was a shock at a young age. For all of us in the yard, everyone was just kind of, I'm sure there's a mark on everyone that was in that yard, you know.
What was your first ride like? Was it comparable to Thom Malone's in Punchestown? Or?
No. I had 2 rides my first day.
Did you say you only got your license or something on the day? Or
yeah, I was in getting my license.
You already had the rides booked.
Yeah, I was kind of that week you have to do, or a couple of days you have to do, and Desi had jocked me up on them, you know. He was pretty sure I was going to get it. But I went around Clonmel and 2 horses, and Annie Shoe Will Do and Elam Logistics.
For Desi?
For Desi. I was 4th in the bumper, and the other horse went okay, and he was happy, so started there, yeah.
So how did it take off for you then? When did you start riding winners?
I suppose it did. I think it was 2nd year in. I can't actually remember. It feels like yonks ago, but I did get going very quick. I'll tell you, what I kind of base it on is me and Mark Walsh hunted together at the same Charlie O'Neill thing, got our licence the same time, and I rode a lot of winners, and Mark was just plugging away in Christie's and plugging away. Quite Mark as flying, and I'm out, you know, so it's funny.
Strange life.
Yeah, well, you know, it's a bit like some soccer players. They get into it quick and get over it early, you know, they burn out or whatever.
There's a great quote from Andy Mack after, you see the picture of Mark after he won at Cheltenham, and he's kissing, there's a nice picture of him kissing Liz. And he goes, known Mark, she's probably his girlfriend, and he's never told that to us.
Yeah, that'd be Walsh.
Mark is a man of very few words.
Walshy, yeah.
What a rider.
Yeah, I seen him yesterday. He's still got a fair limp, but he was telling me I think he's 5 or 6 weeks away.
Yeah, himself and Barry Geraghty to get badly injured more or less at the same time kind of summed it up. But what were your favourite horses in the early days? Kuna Gray, Jesus, that seems like the last winner I backed, and that was 2006.
That was lucky.
Do you remember that, all right?
That was lucky.
Paul Nolan.
I wasn't booked to ride him. Geraghty was booked to ride him.
Get injured?
The race before it, cut his face and was brought to hospital.
2006 Galway Hurdle.
Yeah. So I had no pressure going into Galway. I think if I had 2 other rides in the week with no chances.
This was a horse laid out for the year. Basically, his mark protected because he'd finished 2nd the year before, was it?
Yeah, I don't even know, to be honest. I just remember thinking, right, I'm sitting here, will I run out? And I rode a few winners for Paul and James Nolan.
Great lads.
Yeah, top lads.
They'll be in great form at the hurlers at the moment. They may even believe they'll be Tipperary next Sunday. Anyway.
And ran out. I said, go on, you might as well go out and ask. And I'm sure there was no one else available, so I got the spin.
So it was your own initiative, like?
Yeah, well, it kind of, I don't know if they've changed. I think there was a beginner's chase before the hurdle years ago.
Right.
And there was a couple of lads used to hit the deck, so sometimes you were better off with no riding it.
It's amazing to look like something like that to happen. He's very good horse as well.
Blessed. And literally, that was probably one of the easiest winners I rode.
Look at some of the names there.
Irish national winner, that was
You're again,
Hear the echo for another man of few words.
Great man, Mouse. Worked for him for a year. I reckon the best horse I ever rode was for Mouse. A horse called Van Elmar. Was second on him.
A tragic end, didn't he?
Just, things went wrong. He ended up fracturing something in his leg. But I still say he's probably the most... I'll
have to look that up now.
No.
I think he might have been Suleimani because he was a rare enough. In any event, he was around at a time when Ireland had some crack novice hurdlers.
Kev Tara?
We'll have to look that up. Somebody's at home saying no. You're right. So the Van Elmar was the most talented horse you've ridden, you think?
I mean, some of the horses you rode when you were in Eddie O'Grady's, some of the horses in the back in front, Pizarro, Ned Kelly down there, like.
Yeah. A little Hardy Eustace.
Yeah, Central House, Schindler's Hunt, Rare Bob. With a nice team,
Hardy probably wasn't the most talented horse of all time, but he had all the attributes.
He had a special place for us because we rode him as a breaker.
Yeah.
I wasn't riding at the time. And I thought, I'd never get to see him. And the buzz we had of him winning in Cheltenham and, the kind of journey he brought the yard on. And then all of a sudden I was working for Mouse at the time. Desi rang me and said, look, if you want to ride this filly, you'll have to, stick with him. And I have another horse there, son, I think he'll win. And Julie, 2 of them went out and won, yeah. Beat size in Europe, yeah. So I think he was 13 at the time, Hardy, but he was some horse.
Do you remember those days? Brave Inc, Max Joy, Hardy Eustace,
Max Joy, yeah.
Incomparable, Archibald.
Just what those horses, that generation, those 4 or 5 years of hurdlers were just incredible.
Cave Tara is indeed the right answer. When I think back in the Hardy Eustace days, you're happy because it's so great memories, and I had no involvement in the horse.
Yeah, proper champion hurdles. A lot of people slate Paul's riding Archibald and that. Archibald was an exceptional animal. Just the likes of Brave Inc and Hardy just never stopped, never slowed down. If they had to go another half a mile, which Hardy did in Cheltenham, he won the 2-5.
Yeah.
Same thing. First one off the bridle.
Under Kieran Kelly, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Remember the Coral Cup?
When he came back in the year after Kieran Kelly had died, that reaction was like...
And Lara Byrne, the owner as well, is just one of these... people that you couldn't but like, and it was just a great story. And Desi, of course, as well. And what went wrong with Desi Hughes? It was vaguely booze related.
Yeah, it was booze related. We had a great time, and I didn't want to work as much as he wanted me to work. I kind of just wanted to start, a couple of days a week, riding winners and this, and it didn't suit Desi. And I think it was on the beer in... I think it was Youghal. I think it was down in a nightclub in Youghal.
Does Youghal have a nightclub?
Yeah, it did anyway.
What's it called?
Don't know.
Can't remember. Maybe able to help us out there.
I think I was staying in Russell's house, and there was myself and Andrew Lee, Carberry. We ended up going to Mitchellstown. I think I was supposed to be back and work the next day. We ended up in Mitchellstown horse show. Another day at it, and I said, I'll ring Desi. I think I might have been missing for 3 days. I rang Desi and I said, geez, sorry Desi, I'm sick. He said, that's grand, yeah, no bother. And I'm thinking, that's grand now, he's not taking this. That's fine, your P45's in the post. So, that was it, basically.
Did you just kind of casually said, I was in there 3 days as well. Like 3 days, like just
I kind of went, I'm sick,
Did you repair the...
We did, yeah. We did. As I said, I went to Edward O'Grady's after that. I think I was 19 at the time. And rode some lovely horses for Edward and really enjoyed it down there, but I'd only to work 2 or 3 days and I was just partying too much. I couldn't even do that. And Edward rang me. I think we were supposed to ride Pizarro and back and front and all them, give them a school around Tipperary, and I couldn't get out of bed. And he rang me. I think he was ringing me for a couple of days, got hold of me and said, look, you have 2 options. Either you go and get a bit of help and you can come back and your job's there, or just keep tipping on down the road. So
it's very noble of him, in fairness.
Fair play to him. A lot of people. The easiest thing to do would have been just...
Yeah.
I was going to say, were you not half expecting that, just to absolutely reef you out?
That was the fear, that, if I do go and meet him, he's going to just, let loose on me. But to be fair, he was very straight. He put me in contact with a man in Cashel who put me in contact with... what was the name of the place? Ashling Centre. And paid for it myself, and I went down kind of expecting, look, I'll cruise through this 6 weeks.
6 weeks?
I just didn't know what I was kind of getting into. I said, I'll put on my headphones, I'll cruise through here for 6 weeks, and we'll be fine, we'll keep everyone happy. But no, it was a tough time. It was a hard experience. We they break you down, they make you start at the start, and write everything out and put it out in front of your family, and it was tough, but geez, I was a new man coming out of it,
What sort of calibre of person would you meet there that would have a drink problem or whatever?
Well, it wasn't just drink, it was for people up to 20 years of age, so that was it, no over 20s. I shared a room with 3 lads who were probably 16 heroin addicts. Crazy.
From Dublin, or?
Yeah, 1 from Kilkenny, 2 from Dublin. But I could sleep at night. I wasn't getting withdrawals or anything. Them guys were like trying to jump out windows. They were so bad, they were just rattling. And they couldn't get anything for it.
You were in the same room with them?
Yeah, but they'd kind of 2 days in and they'd be gone again, And then you'd have your court-appointed people come through, and they were just...
At this time, that pretty successful. Like you're, and like how is that? Like I know you're only 19, and that's the kind of thing about jockeys you forget. They are, like they're boys in this man's world.
Yeah.
But like you're coming from that into this, where like, well, what is that like?
As I said, I walked into it with a different notion, but it was tough. It was very hard. I'm not going to lie, but it was one of the best things I've ever done. Really, I do have a drink now, but I didn't for 6 years.
I find that very interesting. I was trying to remember because I was at a wedding with you, and I was just thinking when I came in here, I think Paddy was having a few pints at that wedding, and I didn't think anything of it.
Yeah.
So how was that recovery? Because obviously some people would be of the opinion, no, you can never drink again because you're going to go mad.
I suppose a lot of people would maybe look at me and think, oh, you shouldn't be. I don't know. I'm quite happy doing it now.
You ran the night of the wedding anyway.
Yeah. Look, at the time, I had a lot of, as you said, you're a boy in a man's world. You have a lot of pressure. Although I didn't know it was pressure at the time, a lot of stress, and it was kind of just a crutch, and just lean on it. Yeah.
I just like you hear the reports that come out in the BHA and the like, and you hear about the mental stress of being a jockey, and even stuff like McCoy said, you're a loser. 100 horses will run of a day, right? In 7 races, only 7 will win. 93 are losers. You know what I mean? The vast majority of your rides, at least 80%. If you're going at only 80% losers, you're doing incredibly well. So is it dealing with that all the time?
It is.
The time when you come as well, like there's incredible weight room.
Yeah.
The people who are in it with you.
Yeah. Golden era.
Like
It was a golden era. But it started for me as a lot of fun. And I was a fan, I was a racing fan. And I don't know, was I that fully committed, zoned in on being a jockey? It kind of just happened, And a lot of people say, oh, I got too much too young. I suppose I had the talent when I was young. And it just came, and it did what it did. But maybe if I didn't get it that quick, I might have just left the game.
Well, I think one of the keys to success in sport is half taking the fun out of it, in that like Kilkenny hurlers and Cody, like last year's dinner is absolutely no use to me now. And I was at Shamrock Rovers game last night talking to a Rovers fan about a player with another League of Ireland team who's given the impression that he's reached a lot of acclaim and he's done very well, but you're kind of looking at him now, and is this lad kicking on, or is he kind of just wallowing in the acclaim and not driven? And you just have to be driven.
Yeah, like he's McCoy and Ruby and even Frankie. Them boys, they're different. They're eye on the prize and can keep it on it and don't, wave anywhere. I can only speak for myself, and in saying that, I don't think I was ever just blinkered to be a jockey. I love soccer, playing soccer.
Any use?
The crack. Yeah, okay, I'm back playing a bit now.
Bit of Astro?
No, knees are too bad for 11 aside.
Yeah.
Division 2, Kildare League.
Who's your team?
Bush Celtic, top of the table.
Are you hardy right back?
No, I play anywhere. I play kind of right wing, haven't played right back. Yeah, just...
You can't help but feel that Paddy would be a classy player.
Yeah.
A really talented jockey.
But he wouldn't be boasting about it.
No. I'd say he's got a good touch.
I want to play in that game, the jockeys against the bookies. I don't know what side to be on, but Terryland Park used to hold it in Galway.
That was good.
But we have to get back to...
I think we should totally get a petition going to restart.
Oh, yeah. Pitch I'd love to play on. But I suppose you're obviously a bit more rounded than the stereotypical jockey then, in that you have a lot of other interests.
A lot of interests, I love sport. I'm just always been a sports fan. Formula 1, MotoGP, I'll just sit down and watch it. Or I'll just go into a trance and watch it,
Jeez.
Love it.
God help your wife. Anyway, so what happened then? So after Eddie O'Grady's, you ended up down under.
Done a stint with Mouse as well.
That must have been a bit of crack.
Good crack.
Yeah.
Legend. Brilliant man. Brilliant trainer. If Mouse's horse can win in Cheltenham, it'll win in Cheltenham.
Yeah.
Or punch down at one of them. He's very good at that.
His son Jamie doing a DJ set in the Dice Bar in Smithfield. I've bumped into him a few times.
Yeah, Jamie's a good lad.
Yeah.
He's back with the horses kind of more now a bit again. Anyways, kind of went back riding for Desi and freelancing and stuff, and I think I broke my shoulder 3 times in the year. I was just riding so bad and head was wrecked, and I wasn't drinking at the time either, and I think I was coming to that stage where
something had to give.
Yeah, something had to give, So I kind of didn't know where to go. I hadn't a clue. I knew there was Irish boys down in Australia and Melbourne. And I said, oh, maybe if I give that a crack for 6 months, get fit, get really going well again, and then come home. But 6 months turned into 4 years, nearly 4 years.
How did you enjoy it?
I loved it. I loved it. The racing kind of suited me because you didn't have to be really dedicated. 12 runners, jumping out of stalls, fences or hurdles.
They jump out of stalls?
Jump out of stalls. Racing over there is very punter friendly. It's the punter gets a fair shout at everything. If you rode a horse that led its last 5 starts and you didn't lead on it, you get brought in by the stewards to ask why. It has to be announced over the public to tell them this is what's going to happen today.
Now I know the BHA have made overtures to that extent in regard to
much.
I find it a bit. Now I'm seeing this from a punter's point of view.
What you're referencing here, by the way, so we might be clear. Irish trainers have gone over to the UK, and as far as we know, only Irish trainers have actually been interviewed pre-race and asked what their pre-race instructions are with jockeys.
Was it Dennis Hogan?
Dennis Hogan, Ronan McNally, and Charles Burns.
I think that's absolute nonsense. And I've absolutely no right to tell you what way I'm going to ride that horse today. I mightn't even know how I'm going to ride it.
It's not in the rule book. You don't have to do it.
As Ronan McNally said, what am I going to say to Aidan Coleman? Aidan Coleman knows far more about riding a racehorse than I will ever know.
McNally, who recently trained a 16-year-old winner in Roscommon. So would you be the Australian side of the way of doing things, or the Irish way?
No, Irish way. I don't think there's anywhere better than Ireland, to be honest. Jumps racing wise.
Yeah.
The Australian horses, they were nice horses, but they were kind of burnt out flat horses.
Yeah.
I never rode a horse over there that. No, I won't say burnt out flat horses. They're not. They're nice type of horses. I never rode a horse that galloped through the line, even a 2-miler. That sort of way, like you would here.
Yeah.
You have a good horse that jogs around and it's full of horse through the line.
Yeah.
Just the kind of horse that makes you look forward to the next day. You're like, this fella now, he could go and he can win something.
Out there, you're always just a length or two. You're always at the bottom of the barrel when you get to the line. But I had great fun. That's where I went and had a drink. I was sitting in a pub in Melbourne with James King and his brother, and they were having great crack, and I was kind of sitting there just feeling down, and I just said to you, man, just give us a pint of Guinness. Don't like Guinness, never drank Guinness.
You don't like Guinness and you're trying it in Australia?
Yeah, well, if you don't like it, you're not going to like it over there.
There you go. And then I kind of said, right, grand,
Was this your first pint?
Yeah.
Since?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So I was kind of just sitting there,
I just can't think of
Was
more.
that almost like a game of chicken or something? Just sitting there,
I kind of knew. I said, once I said it to him, I said, right, I'm going to drink it,
Of all things, like your last meal, right? You haven't had a pint in years.
Something you don't
You're in
like.
Australia, and you think, I'm going to have a pint of Guinness in Australia. That's wrong on every level. And how'd you get on?
Good.
Yeah.
Good. Had 2 pints, and left it at that. Went home.
Right, that's an alien concept to a lot of us, but
it was different. But
you came back.
Yeah, look, I had a good time out there. I rode Gay Waterhouse. You'd know Gay, wouldn't you? Her first ever jumps winner. That was fun. They've a carnival over there, Warrnambool, in the May. It's like a week's jumps race and mixed with flat. A bit like Galway, but winter out there. That was great fun, every year was brilliant. Got a couple of winners there. Schooling a horse one day. You have to school horses publicly over there before they're allowed running a chase or run with blinkers. They have to do it in front of stewards. So I was tipping away, soft ground, kind of minding myself on this horse. Just needed him to jump around, and he just knuckled over and my foot got stuck in the iron, and as he rolled my foot was stuck in the iron, so he broke my knee, he done me tibia, my fibia, the ligament and my left shoulder, and I kind of went, right, that was kind of...
What age are you then?
I don't know, 30 I suppose.
You were 30 back then?
Yeah, 31, something like that. And got back from it. It was worse than I thought, and it took me ages to get back. Got back, I rode a few winners, and Emma, we'd got married back here, and Emma got pregnant, so it kind of went, right, I think it's time to jump ship again.
Were you worried about that? Is it maybe not as much for you because you kind of have a more outward way of looking at things, but it must be a shocking concept, like, I have to do something here.
Yeah. you grow up all right, you kicking the arse, really. Yeah, it's real life, you know. You can't dodge around it or do anything about it. You have to look after someone now, and that was it.
Your little child.
Yeah, Francesca.
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 Isn't that Francesca Comani?
No.
Hopefully not.
No.
Is this your love of Italy?
Well, there's something to do with it. Yeah, we think she was conceived in Italy.
There's all sorts of revelations today. The Book of Revelations.
Plenty of information there.
Like, you wouldn't call her after the town and
the bush.
The bush.
No,
definitely not.
You probably wouldn't get away with that one.
So you're off to Italy next week. So you could have a child called Bologna in 9 months' time.
Yeah, might. Yeah.
So what did you actually do then, subsequent to your retirement?
Well, I kind of retired quietly. Never said that to anyone. I just done it myself. I'd been in touch with Race before I left for Australia, and there wasn't really a role there. And I just always kept in touch with them. It was kind of a place I thought I'd like to work, you know. And lucky enough, I got in there then when I was back for part-time hours, and just kind of bedded me way in, you know. It's a good team down there. The guys get on well. I think we work well together at the minute. It seems to be going good, and they offered me a contract in January, and I duly snapped it up.
Are you happy?
Yeah,
that's the main thing. Yeah.
Seeing these kids come in, like, what's that like? Do you feel like when you see them come in, they're 16 and they're bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, and you're like,
they look on Paddy as the old lad with the stories. Oh, I could tell you.
I still don't think that. No, it's good. Last year's group have graduated a couple of weeks back, and to see where they came from when they started to what they ended up as, you get a good kick out of it. You know, it's a nice place.
How different is it going to be for them compared to what it was for you? Like, you talk about the size of the kids first and foremost, but like the facilities they have now as well seem to be far more superior to what was.
Fitness-wise, Wayne does a brilliant job. Nutrition, mental health, that's all. Now, I would say there's a lot of work to do, but it's all getting there. It's going the right direction. But
do you think things would have been different for you if those kind of facilities had been there?
If I could pick it up myself and go and ask someone, I think it could have been different. But it was very hard to find, or to kind of think, you can't be looking for help, you know, you have to be the Tommy Carveys. And
I was thinking this because I read a few articles, and you're like, this is from like what, 2006, 2007, like. Now it's all like, it's okay to be okay, and all these, like, you know, inspirational messages on social media. But back then it wasn't like that. Like it was, some of the comments from the articles I read is searing stuff from you, and just like, it's like, whoa.
It's very sad the amount of lives that have been lost because of that taboo.
Absolutely. And like, that's probably the guts of a dozen years have passed in that time or more. And
it's changing for the better, and hopefully it keeps improving.
What needs to be done? Because you kind of alluded to that more needs to be done there.
I don't know, Johnny. I don't know. Dr. McGoldrick done wonders to get it as far as he did. I don't know what the next step is, to be honest. Your guess is as good as mine, and I think everyone's a lot more open to it now. So, I don't know, get smarter people than me to sit down and think it through, you know.
The other thing, some of the stuff you like got away with, you totally wouldn't get away with now, either.
There's no breathalyzers then, so there was a couple of days now I did turn up and I would have failed it, you know, but we got away with it anyway, so.
I remember doing a piece with Shane Kelly, the writer, on his well-publicised sort of cocaine issues, but unbelievable. Like, it was, he was so vivid in the nightmare picture that he presented to me just about, and what really staggered me was his ability to get away with it in Britain. Basically just manipulating the tests, essentially using someone else's piss,
it's mad,
and getting away with it for years and years and years.
And that's a bad thing, getting away with it, because you probably brought him down to a deeper hole, you know. Same with me. If I'd have been caught earlier, who knows what would have happened, but that's hearsay. But as I said, the kids nowadays, there's no DesiUs. Where's the jumps trainers on the Curragh?
The Curragh as a training ground, the quality of horse doesn't seem to be there now.
No, and the flat horse are there, okay, but
it's a very good point.
Name me a big jumps trainer on the Curragh, or a jumps trainer.
Like the general.
Who is knocking around there from the jumps fraternity now?
Alan Fleming.
Yeah. Alan wouldn't have that many.
No. Conor Dwyer, small yard.
Yeah, Conor nearly has more flat horses now.
Yeah.
But
that is actually.
But it is. But you talk about trainers who are using the Curragh as you hear about Willie coming up, or Jessica Harrington coming up to work there.
Is it too expensive for a jumps trainer, or because you've all the facilities, your school and ground, you've everything.
School and ground is incredible.
You've all the top trainers bringing horses to school there.
Gordon, how many horses Gordon got for Gigginstown? How many did that take out of the pool?
When you talk about big trainers, you've got Gordon, Willie, Joseph, who all have in excess of probably 200 jumps horses. There's a good to 700 horses straight up, and that's what I consider Noel Meade or Henry Bromhead.
Noel was huge when I started, and Desi had 100 horses, and we weren't the biggest jumps yard.
Oh yeah.
And they were kind of Desi's friends, his Dublin friends, his school friends.
Yeah.
They were the owners, I don't think them guys are
game is
buying
kind of gone.
horses like that anymore.
But that's another thing that you brought up in the past as well, that at the affordable level of racehorse ownership, the flat is actually potentially more attractive than jumps.
It's a quicker return as well, isn't it?
You don't have to wait as long. You can run every day. You have Dundalk during the winter, obviously issues with the surface or whatever.
Yeah.
But there is enough of a programme for moderate flat horses and an ability to buy these or get involved in these, whether it be syndicates or racing clubs or whatever, and there are opportunities there for them. Whereas over jumps, you go to run your horse in a maiden hurdle, there's going to be 3 jiggins, okay, maybe not for the next 5 years.
It'd be hard to win one anyway.
And then you have to go, and get handicapped.
Yeah.
And then graded horses start to drop back into the Premier handicaps, the bigger handicaps, and it's an incredibly difficult
the day of
game.
setting up a horse for an Irish national is gone.
Yeah, forget about it.
I mean, you're talking about horses like Liam Cusack, you rode for as well, barely getting into a race of 140.
Even at the level of the Midlands National tonight, there are 14 runners. Gordon has 8.
Yeah, I won it 3 times with not superstars.
Yeah,
nowhere near graded horses.
Sound like a certain trainer now, that's a race that I won so many times. Who are your 3 Midlands National winners?
Night Busker, Trotsky.
Yeah, I remember him.
Night Busker was actually a Gigginstown horse for Desi, and Michael Cunningham trained him. Can't remember his name.
That's a good one now.
Don't know you.
Right, so the last question for you then: who's the best national hunt jockey riding at the moment in Ireland?
Right at the moment,
or on these islands? Your buddy Mark Walsh.
Yeah, Mark's very close to it. Mark, Paul Town, and Rachel Blackmore have gone to another level. I think they've gone from being under Ruby. Davy's still top of the pile. They've took that step where they're going to Cheltenham. They're riding winners in Cheltenham. They're going to Aintree. They're riding winners in Aintree, and they're not happy unless they do. Sort of taking that next step. They're not just happy to be there to riding. They're getting their winners.
Tom, have you done any research on the racing over the weekend?
The weekend, we got the Oaks.
Happy days.
Looking forward to the Oaks.
I'll have
last non-Irish, non-Aidan O'Brien Irish trainer to win the Oaks. Paddy Mullins.
Ooh. Vintage Tipple.
Yeah, 2003.
What?
So since 1999, only 3 Irish trainers have won the Irish Oaks.
Oh my God.
Aidan O'Brien obviously 100 million times. Paddy Mullins and Jim Bulger. So look, English trainers have dominated. They're pretty strong. Obviously, Pink Dog, good favourite.
Yeah. Just to mention first, the Total Irish Injured Jockey Charity Fund received a nice injection of cash after Lucky Road struck for the red-hot Gavin Cromwell stable last Sunday at Sligo. Duly obliged again on Thursday. He also sent the horse out to win again at the Clarny Festival yesterday. Okay, I just said that. The fund now stands at an impressive €6,329. The Curragh takes centre stage this weekend for the Kerrygold Irish Oaks Festival. On Saturday, the ultra-competitive Tote Scurry Handicap will whet the appetite for the highlight on the card, the Oaks, which goes to post at 5:10. The Curragh card on Sunday will see 2 Group 2 contests, and there's also a decent jumps card at Tipperary. I'm just going to give my nap before we get into it with Tom, and that's anything you want to be at the 4:20 at the Curragh. Rather well-named horse after our conversation.
Yeah.
For Willie Brown, a horse by Kingman, who was with Ger Lyons. I was doing tipping piece earlier on, and I was on about Invincible Spirit. Tip 2 horse by Invincible Spirit, and then you're tipping a horse by his son, Kingman, and the cycle continues and all that. One of them was Tretius, who's my tip for the Irish Oaks.
Yeah.
What do you like?
I'm just going to go back with Pink Dog. I don't know, it seems like a ludicrous suggestion.
0 from 3 at the Curragh.
Yep.
beaten by Tretias comprehensively in a maiden at 2.
Yeah. My actual selection for the weekend is actually 3 out of 3 at the Curragh, and that is Sofia in the Sapphire Stakes.
Trained by E. Lynham.
Absolutely.
A pinhook of Amy Lynham.
Yeah. So daughter by Kalaki. She's 3 out of 3 of the course. They have El Astronaute in the race. Equilander's in the race as well, serious sprinter. But yeah, she won over 6 last time out. And a really strongly run 5s are optimum, so she'll get that on Sunday.
Both of you have worked for the Tote.
Yeah, we have, inadvertently, yeah.
Tote sponsored the Scurry handicap, a traditional handicap, over 6 furlongs, 63 yards. Who will be home in front? A minefield.
It's an utter minefield. You'd hope that someone like I'd love to see someone like maybe Artemi or something come down just as right to the top of the
5 horses in a rate over 100.
That's just incredible, isn't it?
Yeah. Race. And obviously then it's a really, really good card. Obviously the Curragh's in the news this week, as Derek McGrath has outlined his departure at the end of the year. It's obviously an interesting time for the Curragh, but if you are around tomorrow, great day's racing and fantastic facilities, and I'm pretty sure you will have a great day there. We should also mention the Anglesey Stakes, the 4 o'clock. Pistoletto probably going to be a sharp price favourite under Ryan Moore, and Lil Grey.
So.
Yeah,
I'd love to see Lil Grey run well.
And the Minstrel Stakes, Romanised for Ken Condon.
Yeah, Romanised, and Gordon Lord Byron runs in that as well. His 100th career start is quite incredible. I think his 70th odd, 70-something start in Stakes Company as well. Phenomenal. Just goes to show these horses, like you say, sweet horses, and they end up in race or whatever. This fella's still going.
He's unbelievable horse.
And he clearly still has a love of the game. So with the car the last day, he's not.
Ken Condon, he's in Desi Hughes' yard now.
That's right, Osborne Lodge.
Yeah.
Beautiful old yard as well.
Gorgeous yard. I haven't seen it since Ken has done it up, but that's a winning yard.
One gent replacing another.
Yeah.
Interesting as well, just at 2 o'clock before we wrap up at the Curragh on Sunday. Blissful is a Galileo filly dropping back to 6 furlongs, but the race is very notable for Nablinta Bio, who's out of Finchgale Bio, which would make, and she's by Invincible Spirit, and she's a half sister too. Old Man River.
Of course.
One-time Derby favourite.
Yeah, one-time Derby favourite. I think he was one of the most expensive horses bought at one of the Orby sellers. I think it cost insane, 2.8 million or something as a yearling.
Horse in America, the Green Monkey.
Yeah. $14 million.
Correct.
He only won 2 races.
Remember, you can enjoy the Tote versus SP best price guarantee on all Irish racing this weekend. See thetote.com for more. I think you've made a very impressive debut, Tom. Rather unlike that school around in the charity.
I'm definitely going to have to go back again and have another crack with something slightly more prepared.
Not a bead of sweat on horse or rider.
Not a bead of sweat on horse or rider. I was waving at them coming back in,
Paddy, you obviously have the Jigginstown hat there. If you could offer one bit of advice to an aspiring jockey in race, which I presume you do anyway, but would you be able to tell us what that is?
Just take your time. Don't rush it. And I think the way yards are now, you see Jack Henry, that Gordon's looked after him brilliantly. He's kind of took him along nicely, and he's exceptionally gifted. But Rome wasn't built in a day, and just keep grinding, because it's tough. But if you're willing and able, you'll get a chance at some stage.
A beautiful ending there, bringing Italy back into the equation. And then a very interesting one as well from Paddy before we wrap up. He advises if you ever go to Venice, go in the winter, because there's nobody there and the water isn't as
everything's open, lovely crisp mornings. It's definitely, I've been twice, so it works.
My advice, for what it's worth, is do not end the sabbatical off the drink by having a pint of Guinness in Australia. Thanks for listening.
Friday Night Racing
on Off the Ball.
And they're off. Brought to you by Go Racing. Plan your day at the races at goracing.ie.